The Academy did not do a David Lynch, well, they did do a 10-second David Lynch tribute, but they did not do a full-fledged David Lynch tribute for the Oscars when he died. It was about a month and a half, 2 months after he died, January 16th. And I told myself, as much as he means to me, my friends, somebody needs to do a proper tribute. So that's why I'm here today. David is one of those people you never thought could die or would die. Like, you don't think about people you admire as somebody that will, move on. Whether it's an athlete or an actor or a musician or a painter or, I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing here. You don't think of them as being somebody that you won't have in your life. And so when I already knew he was not in great health. He was, I think, 78 and, emphysema and everything. When he did die, I was just like, never in a million years did I ever think I would live in a world that David Lynch did not live in. His dark themes and the way he wrote his stories and his characters it's really a feeling I can't put into words. Of course, there was a time before I knew who David Lynch was, and I was, didn't know who David Lynch was, so it's like, oh, whatever. But once I familiarized myself with his filmography, and his short films, and some of his music, it really just opened up a world of curiosity, and just like, here's what you can do with your mind, and how you can use certain thoughts and feelings to convey messages to other people, whether you understand them or not. I've seen all of his films at least 2 or 3 times, some more than others, obviously, but even if you don't fully understand something, you can still see the point, and you can feel the thought process that he put into his stuff. One of my favorite things he did with his movies and shows is how he gives everybody a reason to be there. All his characters. Like, you're never going to find a character that just is there just to be there. There's always some little detail of, like, how they come into play later, or how they came into play before, or how they're related to the main message. I think that's one of the things I admire the most. And the way he gives them so much emotion and love, and just the stories too, not just the characters, the way how it, like I said, everything has a meaning. Whether it looks like it or it doesn't look like it, everything has a meaning. I don't proclaim to be a critically acclaimed filmmaker. I've made a couple little short films. But just from what I've done, it's like, I can understand people like, oh, I don't understand it. That doesn't mean anything. It's just random. I'm like, no, everything has a meaning. Everything I've made, even though if it's like, oh, I don't know why that shot's there, or I don't know why they said this, there's always a meaning behind it, whether you know it or not. There's always a meaning. The weirdness is the way he expressed himself, and everybody needs to come to terms with their own weirdness. That's just the way his mind worked, and I applaud him for that, and it was a beautiful thing. Like I said, I've never imagined living in a world without that mind, and going forward, there's not going to be any more new projects from him, but that just makes you cherish the ones that he did do, and it makes you appreciate them a little bit more, knowing that that's it. But anyways, the weirdness, the surreal grasp he had on his stuff, That's the reason why he's one of my all-time favorite directors. If not my favorite. Wes Anderson absolutely was my favorite for the longest time. David is very close to taking that spot. They're basically on the same footing, but he makes me feel comfortable. His films make me feel comfortable because of the way it's like he can just do the most exaggerated, unexplainable things, but it feels like they all have a purpose to me. And I'm not saying I understand all of his stuff, because I don't think anybody can truly understand all of his stuff. But being able to identify with some of his themes and some of the dark material, and just being able to see that and be like, oh, like I've felt this way before, or I've had thoughts about doing something like this, or something along those lines. It's something that's very relatable, and something that makes the stuff stand out so much. It's just such an odd piece of media, and you can look at it and just realize that he's the way who he is, you're the way you are, I'm the way I am, and you just have to live with that. One of my favorite quotes, I like to use this, not just for him specifically, just for life in general. When people say, oh, I don't understand that doesn't make sense, it's weird and out there and it has no meaning. One of my favorite quotes of his is, I don't know why people expect art to make sense. They accept the fact that life doesn't make sense. That might be my favorite quote of his. Why does everything need an explanation? You feel better if you have an explanation. Watching something and there's a lot of question marks. Like going through Twin Peaks, there's a lot of stuff you have questions about by the time it ends, and that don't get answered. But why do they need to answer? Sometimes the beauty of it is being able to say, all right, here's what I made, I want you to watch it, figure out the rest for yourself. Or, you can interpret it the way you want to interpret it. Why does everything need an answer? That's my favorite thing that he did with his films is makes them very open-ended. He doesn't always give you what you want. You think you might have what you want from it, but at a certain point, you got to be creative. You got to just you got to feel the feeling around it. Not everything is 1 or 0. It's not like just a solid color. There's gradients. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. I'm making sense to me. His films have gradients. It's not just black or white. There's a lot of gray. It's like, it could mean one thing, it could do the other. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. Bottom line, not everything needs to make sense, okay? Just accept it, Watch it, think about it, accept it, let it sit in your brain. My first David Lynch experience was Dune, 1984. I didn't know it at the time. I had gotten it on Blu-ray along with the book for Christmas one year. And this was, what Christmas was that? Maybe 2019? Maybe it was a little later. 2021, maybe. He's a very recent director in my life. I haven't always been a big fan. I've always been a big fan. I haven't always been a fan, because didn't know who he was at one point. But anyways, so I got Dune on Blu-ray, and I was like, oh, look, the original Dune. I didn't know it was him. I had never heard of him. I was just like, oh, there's the 2021 version. And I was like, oh, look, there's an original, apparently. And I watched it, and it was good. It didn't blow me away or anything. I was like, oh, that's definitely 80s sci-fi. It was pretty entertaining. Cool. Watched it, put it on the shelf, and I was like, yeah, awesome. My second experience was watching The Fabelmans, which he plays John Ford near the end. He has a cameo, which is maybe one of my favorite cameos he's ever done, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's David Lynch, I'm pretty sure. Again, the only thing I'd seen was Dune, but I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that they got a director to play a director. So I was like, okay, I've seen Dune, and I've seen him in The Fabelmans. Cool, I'm an aficionado now. Then I watched Eraserhead. Me and my dad watched Eraserhead together. I remember we were trying to find something to watch. We were scrolling on Max, and I was like, oh, let's do that. I was like, oh, that's the guy that did Dune, so maybe it's along the same lines. And oh my gosh, that absolutely blew me out of the water. It's only an hour and a half long. It's not that long at all. But we watched it, and I remember just sitting there afterwards, and we were both just like, what? Going back to not everything makes sense. Eraserhead doesn't always make sense. It makes a little bit more sense now. I've seen it several times, probably 5 or 6 times, and every time I watch it, I feel like I can get a little bit more pieces from it that I didn't get before. It still doesn't entirely make sense, but it's a very personal thing to him. Anyways, I watched that for the first time, and my mind shattered. I was like, this dude is a genius. I'm like, just that film alone is one of the most inspiring films I've ever seen. I think about it all the time. So I was like, I gotta find out some more about this guy. So I kind of started, watching his stuff, getting a lot of it on Criterion Collection. Well, all of it that's available on Criterion I was able to get. But at that point, I'd seen everything, and I was like, this guy is just absolutely the best. However, there's one thing he did do that is not, well, there's technically a film part of it, but Twin Peaks, how can I go this long? Sorry, I need to adjust. Go this long without talking about Twin Peaks. His films are great, but Twin Peaks, which he did co-create with Mark Frost, it's not solely just him, but he obviously had a very big part of it. He co-created, directed a couple episodes, and of course with The Return, he did pretty much all of that directing and writing by himself. And Fire Walk with Me, which he directed, which is my second favorite film of his, only behind Eraserhead. Anyways, Twin Peaks. Oh my gosh, I had seen a couple little clips of it before, and I just kind of in passing, like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And I watched all of Twin Peaks. I watched Fire Walk with Me. I watched The Missing Pieces. I watched The Return. That whole world of quirkiness and mystery, and it just, you can become so lost into it. And that's when the director and writers did their job of being able to make a spot where you can just escape into. Granted, some of it's very depressing, but Fire Walk with Me is almost a comfort movie now. If I need a dose of Twin Peaks, it's one of the most depressing, disturbing films I've ever seen. But it comforts me because it's such a wacky, disturbed world, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if you're in the right mindset, you can identify with a lot of it. It just lives rent-free in my head, I guess. Maybe that makes me a psycho. Couldn't tell you. But the world of Twin Peaks was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had watching anything. It took me several weeks, to finish all of it, because it's, 2 different series, but just being able to do that and get the full Lynch experience. I think a lot of people probably take that for granted. I know I don't. That leads me, I'm getting done soon, I promise. So 2 months after he died in March of this year, 2025, one of the local, I guess call it art house theater I live near, called The Lyric. It does a spotlight series every month, and they pick a couple films from a director or actor or writer or something, and they show them. And the month of March, they did David Lynch, and I thought, if I have the chance to see at least just one of his films in theaters. I thought that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I may never get that chance again, so I took them. They showed Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, and Eraserhead. Not Eraserhead, Elephant Man. I got my E's mixed up. They showed those three. They showed 2 in March and 1 in early April. So I was like, absolutely, I have to see these. I have pictures to prove it. Those 3 showings were some of the greatest experiences I've ever had in any theater, ever. For 2 main reasons. One, the obvious being, it's David Lynch on the big screen. You know, the sound, the screen itself, you know, being able to see it the way it was meant to be seen blew my mind. Second reason is that there was a lot of people at all 3 screenings. I think the crowdiest? Crowded. Oof, grammar. The most crowded showing of the 3 was Blue Velvet. That one I feel like was nearly packed. But even the other ones too. There was a lot of people that showed up. So being able to share those moments with those people. There's a couple people, I didn't have long conversations with them, but a couple people I sat around, you know, make a couple comments to them before and after the movies. And being able to be in that, like, have that community of fans, being able to experience those films the way it was meant to be experienced. That was, like I said, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I would not give that up for the world. You couldn't have paid me $1 million to miss that. Mulholland Drive, maybe, I'd have to make a list. There's a lot of good theater experiences I've had. But Mulholland Drive, top 5, probably top 3 theater experience I've ever had. Maybe even top 1, if we're going to be honest. Just because being able to see it on a big screen, I feel like I understood it so much more that way. The sound, you know, it was booming. The scene that stuck, well, the whole movie sticks out to me. But the scene that stuck out to me the most, and I will say it, I cried. I'm a grown man, but I'll say it. I cried during this scene. Was when they went to Club Silento. Silento, that's the rapper. Woo! Club Silencio. Oh my gosh, sorry. Club Silencio. When they are at Club Silencio, and the girl is singing. I know how the song goes. I'm not going to sing it, but when she sang that song, her voice just echoed throughout the theater, and you know it shows the characters all reacting to it, and it shows her reaction to it. And I lost it. Like, I felt like it hit my soul in a way I don't know if I've ever had a movie hit my soul like that. There's been a lot that have hit my soul. The Batman, Asteroid City, you know, seeing those in theaters was just like riveting. But that one scene, I mean the whole movie did it, but that one scene alone, it struck me to my core, and I was like, this is why these films are made. It's a feeling I can't put into words. Like, if I could transfer it to you, maybe if I send it out to the camera, maybe you can feel the vibe that I'm giving off right now. I don't know. I could go on another hour talking about it, but just the mystery and the mystery of it. Whew! Sorry. Second one, Blue Velvet. That one was extremely enjoyable, and I think that was the 3rd time I watched it. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Second time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And then the 3rd time, I'm like, if you can even go past perfect, it went past that point. The thing that Blue Velvet does very well is be, I think, very unintentionally comedic. There's a lot of lines that you can tell were put in there to get a laugh. But there's a lot of lines I feel like you just naturally laugh at, and maybe it's intentional or not. But the audience was very participative in reacting to certain scenes, and being able to laugh along with them. It was mostly every line that Frank said. But and if you've seen Blue Velvet, you understand very much by what I mean by that. Because he just has some great one-liners. But being able to have the audience there to share that sentiment with the dramatic scenes, with the comedic scenes. Oh gosh, again, I can't put it into words. It's just a feeling. You had to be there, you know. But the mood was also. I also want to mention this. When I got there, they have at the theater they have like a little, kind of like a little hole in the wall spot where they have like wine and cider and stuff like that. But for that night, they had Heineken and Pabst Blue Ribbon. Okay, and if you've seen Blue Velvet, you know the line, and that thrilled me. I was like, because that's maybe the most famous line of the film. But the fact that they had both of those there, I thought was the coolest thing ever. It was almost like a little Easter egg for like, if you've seen it before. I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, they have Heineken and Pabst Blue Ribbon. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Anyways, and then the last one was Elephant Man. That one makes me cry every time. And seeing that on a big screen, it held my heart in its hands the entire time in a way I did not expect it to, but it did. Especially the ending. Well, the whole thing is just very emotional, but the ending specifically, seeing that projected out, and just filling the room. Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't even know if I can talk anymore about that, just because it meant so much to me. And you might think I'm crazy. Kind of like, oh, you're so obsessed with this, it's so weird. I'm like, everybody has that thing that they care deeply about, whether it's sports or books or music. Everybody has that one thing, that one person that just can touch their soul in a way nobody else has. David Lynch is one of those people for me, absolutely. I will end with this. I guess my last thought, well, second to last thought. David Lynch was a good man. Had a very interesting mind, but he was a good man. Everybody loved to work with him. You could tell the passion he put into everything. But the thing that sticks with me, I guess the lasting imprint he had on me, is he inspired me to be different. You don't have to conform, you know. Don't do something because somebody wants you to do it. Do it because you want to do it. Be different. Be bold. Make bold choices. Make bold decisions. Write your characters boldly. You know, write your story boldly. Don't shy away from maybe certain emotions or certain subject material. Just be yourself. You know, don't be afraid to be yourself. Like I said earlier, like, he's who he was, you're who you are, I'm who I am. Everybody is their own person. Be that person. That's the bottom line that he's left me with. Is just be who you are. Express your ideas the way you want to express them. Don't worry about people judging. People are going to judge. People are going to hate. Don't listen to them. You know? They don't matter. The only thing that matters is you doing what you want to do, being yourself. That's about all I could say. I could go on for another hour if I wanted to. I don't have an hour. Well, I do have an hour. But you don't have an hour to sit here and listen to me. And we have some other people, other friends and family of mine that are going to speak as well. I guess, David, my final thought to you is this.
I love you, David.
David Lynch. I mean, visionary director in every sense of the word. He had an idea, didn't matter how weird, how out there the concept was, he did it, and he really did not care what anybody thought. He put it out there, and I might be a new fan of his, but that's still commendable, and he's gonna be sorely missed. And I can't really think of anything else to say, but
Norman Bosnia.
David Lynch was a universal treasure. He brought mystery, horror, anger, grief, and humanity all to the forefront through artistic mediums. David Lynch was the person that taught me that movies aren't just a fun little thing you can watch, and they are sometimes, but he taught me that film is by far the best artistic medium to me. It wasn't just about loving movies for David Lynch. It was about creating and maintaining mystery and humanity. All the nuances of life that we often don't understand, he was able to represent through his films. Whether it be horror through Lost Highway, mystery through Mulholland Drive, grief through Twin Peaks, he knew how to bring the darkest corners of humanity to life through movies. And sometimes his movies were difficult to watch. Sometimes they show the gritty details that we always don't want to see. But he brought them to the forefront, and that's what's important. He was a true gift and treasure to this world. And like he said, fix your hearts or die. And I think that statement is a true testament to his character and the message that he wanted to deliver to everyone who watched his movies. Whether it was through grief, anger, mystery, he wanted love to be known first.
I was 16 years old when I watched Mulholland Drive for the first time, and instantly I became enamored with David Lynch and his vision through what he had with film. I cannot say that other than David Lynch, a director has never taken my mind to the places that he has. It's honestly, I don't know, I just can't think of a director that ever put my mind in the places that his work did. The best way I can describe his work is dreamlike. Every Lynch project has an atmosphere of surrealism and a dreamlike wonder that sticks with me through everyday life, and I often find myself thinking maybe I am in a David Lynch movie. Investigating the dreamlike nature of our reality. Lynch's work speaks to me more than anyone else's does, and all it has to say is a very simple message. Reality is often more confusing than the most confusing dream. Dreams are a very seminal part of Lynch's films, but he never strays so far as to reject reality. And the realities found within his universes are often more real than the realities we face every day. Whether it's the alien-like view of fatherhood found in Eraserhead, the surreal exploration of small towns and big secrets found in Twin Peaks, the lonely and alienating dive into marriage and romantic pasts found in Lost Highway, or the dreamy and terrifying plunge into the world of Hollywood and acting found in Mulholland Drive. Lynch always characterizes his reality-bending excursions with themes and messages rooted in what's real and what's important. Lynch truly is the most mysterious man to ever step up to the director's chair, but his mystery can truly be unraveled by paying attention to what it is he's trying to say through his work. Lynch gave us iconic characters like Agent Cooper, Henry and Mary X, and the abomination behind the dumpster. He gave us Lass through the log lady of the Twin Peaks and the hijinks of Adam Kesher, the director from Mulholland Drive. And probably most of all, he scared the piss out of us with scenes like the party in Lost Highway and the penultimate ending of Mulholland Drive, both of which still send shivers down my spine to this day. Lynch's personality was one of kind-heartedness and mystique, and I still remember the day he died with pure clarity. I simply couldn't believe the world had lost another genius mind, but I'm here to celebrate his life and not mourn his death. Lynch's legacy will surely live on through the many films he blessed us with while he was here, and in that way, I hope that Lynch will truly never die.
Believe it or not, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film.
Elaborate on that?
No, I won't. Now, if you're playing the movie on a telephone, you will never in a trillion years experience the film. You'll think you have experienced it, but you'll be cheated. It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real. Cooper, you remind me today of a small Mexican chihuahua. Many times you forget them. And if you forget a good idea, you want to commit suicide. So you have to write them down. What a heavy load Einstein must have had. Fucking morons everywhere.
If you want to cut the time down,
What is this with everybody?
No.
What is it? Really? Why? I'm serious. Fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
When the horizon's at the bottom, it's interesting. When the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit. Now, good luck to you. And get the fuck out of my office.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
What the hell? I just had 2 Cokes, 2 cookies and a Coke. This is phenomenal. And so you just stay alert, do your work, don't worry about the world going by. It doesn't mean that you can sit around and not do anything. You've got to get your butt in gear and do it. And don't take no for an answer. Translate those ideas to cinema or to a painting or to whatever. And figure out a way to get it done.
would you like some pie?
Massive, massive quantities and a glass of water, sweetheart. My socks are on fire.
It's December 16, 2022, and if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again.
I told all your colleagues, those clown comics, to fix their hearts or die.
There's the donut and there's the hole. And you should keep your eye on the donut. And all the other things that go on, they don't matter. What matters is falling in love with a story or ideas and realizing those. No, come on. Slap me. You're pissed off. Slap me.
I don't want to.
Oh, sweetheart.
Here, let me do it.
Okay.
What the f*** is David Lynch doing? He's just sitting on the corner of La Brea in Hollywood with a f***ing cow.
If you want to see the greatest performance of 2006, check out Laura Dern's performance in Inland Empire.
Yeah.
my shepherd. I shall not want. My life is full because I know that I am loved.
Try looking into that place where you dare not look. You will find me there staring back at you.
You mustn't speak!
She wore blue velvet, bluer than velvet was the night.
What kind of beer do you like? Heineken? Fuck that shit!
You know the chicken walk?
What's that?
I'm wild at heart.
If you're truly wild at heart, you'll fight for your dreams.
Morning, Pete. Harry.
She's dead. Wrapped in plastic.
You make me sick. You damn hypocrites make me sick!
Fellas, don't drink that coffee. You'd never guess. There was a fish in the percolator.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every day, once a day, give yourself a present. Don't plan it, don't wait for it, just let it happen. You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I've had, I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
Just you and I. Just you and I.
Say, mares eat oats, and does eat oats, and little lambs eat ivy.
I'm not going to talk about Judy. In fact, we're not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to keep her out of it. Found something! Who do you think this is then? It's here! It's yours!
I am the arm. And I sound like this.
She's my mother's sister's girl.
Norman Bosia.
Tell him you won't tailgate.
Never!
I won't ever.
Do you know how many fucking car lengths it takes to stop a car at 35 miles an hour?
What do you mean you're where right now?
At your house.
Did you ride that thing all the way out here to see me?
I did, Lyle.
Now you will see me one more time if you do good. You'll see me 2 more times if you do bad.
Llorando no es fácil de entender.
A little boy went out to play. When he opened his door, he saw the world.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion.
I could hear it also.
Because this is what you do when you're making quinoa. To buy some time, you have some wine. Cheers. So this is when normally I'll go sit outside. Should I do that?
Sure thing.
That's what I normally do. This is just sitting, taking a smoke, thinking of all those little quinoas bubbling away in that pan.
My father was a pipe fitter for the DeWitt family. I'm not shitting you. I'm a plastic bag specialist.
True love's flame burns so bright. It's love's delight. Hello. This is the water, and this is the well.
Do you really?
You're very good to see you again, old friend.
It's very, very good to see you again, old friend.
Fuck you, Gordon.
Now you're getting the personal treatment.
I want personal. Fuck you too, Albert.
Cherry pie!
Coffee.
Sorry, Dougie, I didn't get one for you. I didn't know if you'd be here today.
Coffee.
Alright, you can have Frank's. He never drinks his anyway.
I'm wearing dark glasses today because I'm seeing the future and it's looking very bright.